Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We got Bly down here in the bottom right side, going up against Milkicow. For those who don't know Bly, this man is Sewer Mermaid Zerg at a pro level for many, many years. One of the most annoying Zergs to play against in the entire world, because he's never just building drones and queens. He's never trying to just make some upgrades to prepare for the next step. This guy is always trying to pull off a cheeky move. I just feel like when you're playing against Bly, it's difficult. You know, StarCraft becomes a conundrum because he's out there looking for a way to basically give you a titty twister. His opponent, Milkicow, is a very high-level Terran player who's started to really climb the ranks of the European pro scene with a few notable wins over some very high-level opponents there recently. But he's going to have his work cut out for him. Looks like he's going command center first here. Up against Bly. He wants to have the super economic start. Now, Bly's going pool first. That was a 17 pool. And we're going to see what cheeky strategies he brings out. So for those who don't know, Bly, even when Clem was at his peak, where we were like, oh, best CVT in the world. Obviously, this was kind of before we saw him, unfortunately, for Clem's sake, at least getting stopped by Dark and then all the Korean Terrans and Protosses. And we kind of realized, oh, he's the best anti-Rainer, anti-Serral player who he'd played against for a long time. Anyway, that's besides the point. The whole point is, Bly made Clem so paranoid. He Nydus wormed him so many times. He hit him with surprise Mutalisks, crazy Baneling busts, weird one-base proxy Ravager pushes. Every time Clem played against Bly in the weekly cups for like a while there, maybe a year or two, it was so funny because you'd see Clem just build like a safety bunker on his high ground. You'd see Clem like bunker here, and then he'd be like building a bunker in his main, even though there was no Nydus worm on the way, just because he'd been Nydus so many times by Bly. And you can see the trauma, and it's fascinating because Bly, it's like, oh, well, if you know he's going to either mute us quickly or a Nydus worm or hit you with like a proxy hatch Ravager rush, surely like you can just play safe against that. But he's so tricky with the different variations of them that it's incredibly hard to pull off. And I always feel like he uses his units differently to other Zergs. I'll never forget the Hero Marine clip of him on his stream way ahead in a game versus Bly, cleared out most of his bases, and he's like, oh, this is why I hate playing against Bly. He just doesn't leave. Ugh. So frustrating. It's like, you're dead, just get out. And as he says that, Bly surrounds his entire army, neuroparasited like 6 Thors and won the game. That is the Bly experience. I might have even told this story in the last Bly game I was casting. It was such a magical memory because we've all been in that where you're counting your opponent out, you're thinking, oh, come on, man, just accept that you're defeated, just leave, don't waste everyone's time. But a guy like Bly is very good at fighting from behind. He's going to manage to get in there. The command center did already finish, but nice repair on the reactor. This is not really doing any damage. As long as one of those SCVs starts repairing the natural, he'll be fine. That SCV unfortunately does get caught with the Marines out. It's a good hold from Milkicow, who as soon as he's got the 3rd and 4th Marine can move out there. See if that SCV, yeah, it'll get out. Bly doesn't really get much damage. He's going to go for a lair behind this. 3 minutes and 10 seconds right now. And a couple more Marines coming forward. Now remember, you gotta watch out. You gotta watch out as Milky. As Milky, it's all about locking things down and shutting down the opportunities. Is there an opening above that depot? I'm not sure if there is or not. Lings are gonna come in. Oh, you know what? You don't want to give him any pickoffs, man. And Milky doesn't have any scouting, right? He does have that one SCV still out there, but he doesn't know if like Ling Speed's gonna finish, so he's gonna build a semi-wall a bit further back. Probably the safer idea. He's got his 2 barracks pumping Marines, a factory and a starport on the way. Milkicow playing a very safe style so far, though he is a little bit supply blocked after having that depot denied. 3rd hatchery on the way for Bly, as well as 2 more gas. Interesting. And look at that Milkicow, the paranoid skin. I just love the experience of being a pro player and playing against these cheeky guys. And you're like, okay, just what's he doing? What's he doing now? And he's seeing a lot of drones there. Milky should feel like, okay, this is kind of standard. I still would probably hold off on a 3rd command center for a little bit longer. But we'll see what he can do here. Roachhorn's on the way, and 4 gases are now up. Bly just droning, building overlords. His Ling still poking about the front. He did go Ling speed this game. That's interesting because he's not really got an avenue to get much done with those Zerglings. But it does at least give the option for Milkicow to think, well, maybe this is a vaguely standard game. He didn't see the Roachhorn. He did see the 2 gases on the natural, which is a sign of a more tech-heavy play. But he doesn't really have any very strict information to read off that just yet. And, 3rd command center at the front. Okay, cool. Oh, Nydus. Okay, there we go. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for that. It looks like they had to do a little pause in the live playing of this game. And a Nydus Worm with Roach Ravager, 44 drones could be fearsome. That third command center is kind of exposed. So even if you can't get in for the kill, you hopefully can get that. And look at that. Oh, the SCV exposed. Zerglings come in. They're not quite able to get it, though. And the Overlord on the pillar will go down as well. Up in the main base, you can see he's pretty well prepared for the Nydus Worm. I think Milkicow is really prepared for this. And Bly may be a bit too obvious. I said he's used a lot of Nyduses in the past. I think Milkicow has definitely felt the wrath of the Bly Nydus Worm before. The depot wall-off is there now. Looks like that is completely solid. Oh, barely saves that SCV, but oh! In the main, Milky! Milky's going to stim those Marines up there trying to defend this Nydus Worm, but it's only a few seconds from popping. Oh god, he picks up his medevac, starts boosting home. He should have stimmed those Marines on top of that. Oh no, he doesn't. Okay, this is going to get out inside his base. He cancels the add-on, starts putting medevacs and tanks. He's going to pull the SCVs and go for a fight. Milkicow maybe needs to just run away for now. Wait for those other Marines to get home. With a lot of stim Marines, I think he can definitely do this. But here we go, the Roaches coming forward. They are slow Roaches. The SCVs are buffering very well. Oh, that's a lot of Marine firepower. Bly's trying to take the fight. He's trying to focus the Marines down. But that might just be way too much Marine SCV in front of him. And another Roach pops out and goes down. That's going to be shut down, though. A single drop goes across the map for the counterattack. Bly's going to pop out at the front and try to go for the backup. He starts tunneling claws, but this is desperate. Your attack's being stopped. You only killed 14 SCVs. And now with a third command center, there's going to be triple mules dropping. This is a massive advantage for Milkicow, who's also putting a Viking that can clean up the Overlords. He can kind of continue having his way. Kenny, though. Kenny. Oh, God. Oh, my God. The Roaches are distracting at the front, which means a new Nydus is getting up inside the base. The Marine tank has to be careful. This is a bit dangerous for Milkicow. The tank does get a big shot off there. He's going to split his Marines. SCVs try to deal with it in the main, but those Roaches are going to pop out. Bly's first attack may have been stopped, but it's never over with the first attack with Bly. He's going to keep going. These Marines, a few of them do go down. Bly's actually finding a little bit of damage. I think this might be getting okay, but oh man, the Marine firepower is just too much. Look at how well they trade versus the Roaches. The moment you have 2 or 3 Marines for each Roach and that sort of stuff, that's great. Not only that, but there's a Marine drop on the other side. He already killed 2 drones. If he can get a few more on the backstab, Milky cleans up the Nydus. He's only lost 6 SCVs. The worker count is dangerously close for Bly. Bly needs to have a big worker advantage right now. He does not have that. And he does lose every single Roach. The Viking cleans up the Overlord. Bly has a Nydus out front, but that's it. And this is a really tough spot to be in because that is 3 racks bio tank pumping. There's still an 8 Marine drop on his side. And now Bly is going to try and drone up as well as make burrow. But this is a nasty position to be in. Your big Nydus all-in's being stopped. The Terran now just continues producing army and workers and stabilizers. And especially if he gets that 4th gas and keeps up tank production, he'll be good. A Marine drop comes in right now. Milkicow showing an expert knowledge of how to dismantle the dirty boy Bly's strategies. And I think Bly now is pressed up against the wall, looking a little bit desperate. But you know what? There's nothing scarier than a desperate cheeser, man. Remember, cheesers are like the meth heads of StarCraft, guys. They are like... They don't have much to lose to begin with. You know, there's always the macro players. Their big weakness is they care about their own life, right? They care about their education. They don't want to go get arrested and get a criminal record, you know. For them, they're meant to have a bright future. But it's the meth heads, like, what can you really do that's going to hurt them? Or you can take away their current bag of drugs, and that's the only thing that they really care about. Anyways, Milkicow's going to go with the double drop there. Nydus is going to try to pop in the main. Roach Ravager runs in. He manages to take out both of the siege tanks. Bly with a crazy dive. That was actually really good. The siege tanks are what was anchoring this. The Overseer does survive. That is there. The Marines get 20 drones. Oh, Bly may have killed the tanks, but he's dead. Oh, that's unfortunate for Bly. I thought this was a really cool attempt by him, but Milkicow just shuts it down, gets the counter damage. Bly is trying to redrone now. He's got quite a lot of Roaches. I think they're mostly inside the Nydus Worm. Some Roach Ravager at the front is still trying to kite down Milkicow. Milkicow's medevacs aren't really at home, so those Marines do stim a bit too far forward. And the Nydus Worm pops up inside the main. Oh, but the Marine drops go back in and get even more damage. Oh my god. Bly's getting dismantled by these drops right now. Milkicow's multitasking looking really good. The Roaches in the main are going to try and jump on them. Oh, is he going to dive? He's actually going to unload enough Roaches to dive. He will at least take out the tank. And then maybe have to run away, though. There is still a lot of Marines. Marines in the third base. And once again, redropping in the main is so painful. The Roach Ravager does try to get back up there. But remember, this is +1 for Terran. No upgrades for Zerg right now. The drop just moving this way and that. Bly finally utilizing those tunneling claws. He's got some Roaches there. A random Ravager with 10 kills behind the mineral line. Oh my god, he's gonna pile down like another 5 SCVs. That Ravager with 16 kills right now. The drop is bouncing back and forwards. Bly lost his 3rd hatchery. His economy is down in the dumps. But look at that. The Roaches and the Ravagers just burrowing here, there, and everywhere. And he's so distracted. Milkicow hasn't realized it's a 24 kill Ravager. What? Oh my god. Looks like finally the marine drop on the other side of the map got cleaned up as well. Milkicow trying to deal with it. He has to scan to get rid of that Ravager, which I think had about 25 kills when it finally went down. And Bly is still down 10 workers at the end of it. So he's still dead. I mean, Bly is making magic happen right now. We're watching a dead man try to necromance himself out of the ground. I think Milkicow just has way too much marine tank medevac. He's got the better upgrades as well. As long as he doesn't let another Nydus go up in the main, I think Milkicow, being up 13 SCVs, he's still got now 4 barracks pumping. A 2-base Zerg just can't really contest with this. And Bly's doing nothing but massing Roaches right now. He's going to pick off a few SCVs, which is cute. He's going to probably have to heal those Roaches, so he does. Yeah, he pulls back, he burrows, he starts trying to move forward. There's a turret there, which I guess gives detection to about here. Now, Milkicow, if those Roaches don't move, notice there's no visual indicator. But if they move, he will see the kind of dirt. There'll be like a real dirt graphic there. So Bly's very wisely not moving those Roaches. He's sitting completely still. Turret's building. Oh my god, he's looking for the ambush. He's looking for the ambush, guys. But that's a lot of Marines. He just goes for it, jumps on top. Bile's going to land on the siege tank on the back. The Marines quickly try to pick up and get out of there. The siege tanks are gone, though. The SCVs are there. Siege tank tries to burrow on top of the ramp, or burrow siege up, I guess is the term for what siege tanks do. They don't burrow. Lurkers burrow, siege tanks siege. Lurkers siege, tanks burrow. What can I say? 18 SCVs go down. That was some very important damage, and getting rid of those tanks and making Milkicow panic and pick up was huge. That was actually massive. And look at that. He's going to take out the turret, which means there's no more detection, which means the Roaches could try to shark in deeper right now. Kitty, 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 deeper, 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 deeper. That's right. At this point, Bly is a weird, creepy anime character shouting about how he's going to go deeper. What can I say? He's Zerg. There's probably some tentacles involved if you give him long enough. More Roaches on the way. Only 33 drones. Bly is desperate. If he could get this game, this would be absolutely crazy. He takes out both siege tanks. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. Bly has created so much chaos for Milkicow in this game that he's managed to find the mistake. So that's every single Bly game, right? If you play perfectly, these strategies should not work. But Bly is one of these players who, for over a decade of StarCraft 2, has found a way to make his top-tier opponents fall apart under pressure. It's a piling up the Jenga blocks until your opponent knocks them over and has to watch the whole castle come crashing down around them. The Roach Ravager get yet another siege tank, and they've got him down to 14 SCVs, but oh man, Bly's worker count is only at 33, and he's going to lose his entire Roach army here. That final part of the trade looked very cost-efficient for Milkicow. That being said, I mean, he's only got 2 bases mining Bly. As long as he can build enough Roach army to defend the counterattack, he'll be good. I don't think he can lose these Roaches, though. I think he's got to be really cautious. Like, it's cool you're killing infrastructure, but with triple mule dropping, I mean, the Terran can stay in the macro game. And, oh my god, this is not looking good for Bly. He tries to lure him out and go for the Marauders, but he doesn't get any of them. Loses like 4 or 5 Roaches there for free. Those units will all heal up, and with that medevac count, so nice. The Nydus weren't popping in the main, though. Very cute. Bly's trying to use that to buy time. Without a 3rd base, I really feel like I don't even know if he's ahead, even though the Terran's on 1 base, because it's like, yeah, obviously his income's better right now, but his main's going to mine out in the next 2 minutes. His natural's already losing half the mineral patches there. He starts a 3rd base, but here comes the Doom Drop. Milkicow says, screw this, I can't be on the defense. I got to go for the counter-offensive. Roach Ravager morphing at the front. Bly is dedicated to keeping him pinned, but this might turn into a base trade, and Milkicow can float buildings. Bly cannot. Oh god, Bly might lose the base trade here. Bly got himself back into a decent position in terms of economy, but his army is still worse than Milkicow's right now. It's a way worse army for Bly. He's trying to shift into that main base. Those Roaches are there. He's trying to lure the army down the ramp so these Roaches can trap it. But he sees, oh no! The attack came across the map. The Nydus Worm's the first thing that gets sniped, which means there's no way home. Bly quickly running some drones. He needs to get those drones out of that base right now. Roaches and Ravagers are breaching that main base. Where'd the Ravagers go, actually? Looks like they're running home. He's going to send the Ravagers home to try and defend while the Roaches clear up the base. Looks like a Liberator was building, but it does get cancelled as the starport lifts off. Drones are away for at least a little bit. He could mine that 3rd base. That's a good idea for Bly. If he can get any more minerals, that'll be huge. And oh my god, the medevacs are so low, but he's not biling them right now. He's got to be careful. He sends back a few Roaches and Ravagers. Oh, the biles, watch out, Milkicow. Okay, Milkicow does dodge there. Initially, he's trying to drop on top. Does he have enough units for that to make sense? He's going to take out the Ravager. Oh, the medevac healing is good. Really nicely done. And the rest of the bio comes down as well. Good focus fire for Bly, but he's losing a lot of these valuable units. He's still got a few buildings in the main, as well as a bunch of hidden drones there. But he wants to try to keep some mining alive, because the moment he loses that mining, that means this 250 minerals is all he's got left to build buildings elsewhere on the map. Milkicow chasing him down right now. Milkicow has a much better army, and I think at the end of all this chaos, Milkicow might just have it, especially with a Banshee building. Oh, Bly doesn't know about it. There's a Banshee building there, guys. Oh my god, what a disaster of a game. And this is what we need more of in StarCraft. We need more players like Bly. We need more people who are willing to take their monster truck and just... They're not trying to win the race. They're just trying to ram the other monster truck off the road. I don't know why the monster trucks are in a race. Do monster trucks ever race? Don't they always just smash into each other? Oh my god. Corrosive Bile almost lands on top right now. Bly, the thing is, a lot of Zergs would be panicked in this scenario, knowing they can never kill the floating buildings, and the opponent can probably force a draw. The problem is, Bly doesn't get stressed. Like, this man is so comfortable in weird, terrible positions, he does not care. As it is, though, I gotta say, what's so impressive about this game as we get to this crazy base trade, I think the Banshee will checkmate him. Yeah, because he doesn't have anything that shoots up. He's gonna try and build spores, but don't know about that, man. No, the Banshee overhead, that's gonna be a bit hard. I mean, if he can get a spore up, it could be big. Corrosive Biles there, he's gonna have to cancel that. Cancel the spore. Gonna try and maybe quickly rebuild another one. I guess the spores could maybe do it, and especially if Milkicow screws up and eats a corrosive bile. Oh my gosh. Maybe. All right, the drones there. Don't get back inside the Nydus worm or they will die. And the army's coming back over here. Yeah, I thought Bly was 100% dead when like the second Nydus worm failed. But that single Ravager in the main, plus like diving on the tanks continually was really huge. Because whenever the tanks were gone, that was massive. And I guess it was really the Tunneling Claw ambush that got him back in it. This command center is going to burn down. Which is kind of a bummer, but there's mules mining there, mules mining there as well. Here comes the bio. Bly's going to try and defend this Spore Crawler, but he doesn't have the numbers, and that is a beautiful move for Milkicow. He just says, cool, as long as the Spore Crawler is done, my Banshee can clean up everything else, and that should be a checkmate there. Another Banshee's out as well. Really well done by Milkicow, man. Yeah, dude, he's got to be so annoyed, though, because he's like, I mean, after you defend the first Nydus, you're so far ahead. You know that Bly doesn't have a good economic transition. You then kill 30 drones with your counter drop. And then you move out to take your third, lose all your siege tanks, and suddenly there's roaches in your main base and things are all falling apart around you. It's the layers of things you have to deal with. Bly will throw problems at you so fast. Milkicow manages to weather the storm though, and he does survive. Alright guys, what's up? Well, I realized I forgot to put my face on in that last game. So we're going to game 2 of this best of 3 now. Milkicow in the top left looking fantastic, weathering the storm. But what a fun dance it is. Here's roaches, here's Ravagers, here's Tunneling Claw roaches, here's Ravagers, here's Nydus, here's another Nydus, here's another Nydus. After that, here's another Nydus. By the way, have you met my friend Tunneling Claw Roach? Bly, an absolute savage as always, and always finding a way to make the game just frustrating for his opponents. He's so annoying to play against. This sort of Zerg is problematic because you can never count on him taking the safe option. And that's, you might think, well, oh, if you can count on him doing something risky, isn't that easy to counter? No, he's got too much range. That's the problem, is Bly has so much range in terms of sneaky BS that he can pull out. It's not just, oh, he's just going to always do the one thing. Because that Roach Ravager is so dynamic, and Tunneling Claws and that sort of stuff with the Nydus Worm, there's a problem here, Nydus Worm, there's a problem here, there's a Nydus Worm, problem here, Nydus Worm. By the way, you got to dodge my Corrosive Bile. By the way, if your tanks aren't covered by your bio, those are going to get taken out. By the way, if you don't have detection, those units are going to fire underneath. By the way, even when you move out, I'm going to leave my Roaches ready to ambush you. I mean, it would have been so cool if Milkicow wasn't going for that Doom Drop, tried to run down his ramp, and then the roaches unburrowed behind him. Because you could see Bly had the Ravagers on the low ground, trying to bait him into that. He's like, hey, look, here's 5 Ravagers, come at me. And he had 15 roaches there. And if the bio stemmed down the ramp and the roaches unburrowed behind it, like, he probably would have been blocked up and eaten massive Corrosive Biles, as well as had his whole range advantage removed. I mean, these sort of maneuvers are so risky, but Bly is at heart a gambler. He's a strategic player who says, well, there's gambles inherent in everything. I'm not just going to try and outplay my opponent through raw speed and mechanics. You know, I've talked to Bly. We did a Pig Show kind of podcast, long form interview a few years ago, and he was like, I'd just rather play the chess game. He's like, I'd rather it be, I make a move, you need to adapt into a counter move strategically, rather than, oh, you're just going to build more stuff than me and micro better than me and that sort of stuff. And you're like, oh, okay. You guys just see a bit of a shimmer on the screen there. Sorry, guys. We just set up my 4K monitor, by the way, so hopefully this recording looks nice. I'm still setting up the tech for it and everything, so I'm hoping everything goes okay, but definitely curious to see how it ends up looking after a few videos. I'll keep tweaking settings and things, try to make sure it looks as good as possible. And Zerg is coming through the middle of the map. All right. Okay, so what do we got? We got a factory on the way behind the barracks and the reactor. SCV is going to start pulling back there. Ling's going in for a little chasey chase. This was just a hatchery first. Into a very quick roach warrant and second gas now. So Bly is doing some form of like 1.5 base Ravager push. His Lings are getting in, already forcing a Mule to go up into the main and miss a couple of mining trips. That Marine going to try and defend. Oh, no, he's going to try and lift Milkicow with a bit of a mistake there. Oh my god, the Marine. If he loses the Marine, he's in big trouble. The Zergling focusing it down. The Marine does fall, but the SCVs do take out the Zerglings. They tried to block that factory from landing, and they managed to do it for a little bit. Most importantly, this is delaying Milkicow spotting the roaches coming across the map, and that's going to be so hard to defend. Milkicow wisely builds a bunker on the high ground. That's very smart. If you don't have the bunker, you're screwed, but having already lost a Marine to go into it, that's a problem. Milkicow needs to keep building Marines, or he's going to be really struggling against this incoming roach pressure. Bly is getting just massive roach Ravager out on 2 gas. He's going to turn every single one into Ravagers. This is an insane commitment for him. He has started droning behind it because obviously you've only got so many Ravagers you can make. He's going to have some economy follow-up. But here we go. 2 Hellions coming out. They're going to stumble into some roach Ravager. Great reaction by Milkicow. Immediately turns around. He should be evacuating that low ground right now. Starting Widowmine production. He's got a Marine in the bunker as well, and he's going to try and escape. Corrosive Bile takes out the trailing SCV. There's only 1 Marine in the bunker. Bly, don't know if he wants to fight that or not. He's going to try and focus down the reactor by the looks of it. The reactor allows double production on this. Getting rid of that is huge. Only 1 Marine shooting. I think Bly might be realizing, wait a second, you're doing almost no damage now. He kills the Widowmine, starts morphing that Ravager, and that is going to heal that unit to full life when it finishes morphing. 1 roach is about to fall, but that's the first casualty for Bly. Bly is starting to hammer this. If he can get rid of that Widowmine, that would be huge, but he only dropped... Oh no, he did get the double pile on it. That is massive. Oh my god, he's just going to kill him. I think he's just going to kill him. Look at this. The Ravagers are massacring. There's just not enough firepower. Oh, there's just not enough firepower for Milkicow. Hellions do so little damage to Roach Ravager with only now a 2nd Marine in the bunker, nothing else in there. The Banshee comes out and defends, but that is absolutely devastating. I don't know what this timing is. It's the hatchery first. I'm going to poke with a couple of Zerglings and then just go bloody 2nd gas Roach Horn timing. It's bizarre. You don't see that very often, but it's specifically to take advantage of a player who's gone command center first and delayed their tech. And especially if they are a little bit busy. And the funny thing is, Milkicow built a blind bunker on the high ground just in case and still took crazy damage against it. That is the power of Bly and his unpredictability. We've got a Lair going up to 4 gases behind it. He might just play Mutalisks and win the game. I would not mind that. Marines are going to clean up that Overlord on the left side. Milkicow right now, he's up a game, but you know he's just shaking his head going like, can you just not take a crazy gamble just once? Can you just like be a Zerg player and build drones and try to defend? You know what Zergs are meant to do? And Bly just has that evil smile on his face and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Do we have to play StarCraft today, do we? Dude, am I making you make decisions as a Terran player? Now, let's be real, guys. I'm a Terran player as well. I play all the races. And when I'm playing Terran, I hate when Zergs play like Bly because as a Terran, your whole thing is like, it's very mechanically difficult, but it's okay because you get to dictate where and when the fights happen. You're normally the aggressor, the harasser, and you don't need to think too much. You just do your build. You play a guy like Bly, you're constantly thinking. You're constantly like, oh god, do I do this? Do I do that? How do I deal with this? What about the next wave? And it just makes StarCraft so much more complicated and easy to make mistakes. So Milkicow's playing very well right now. But Bly is ready for the Nydus Worm. He says, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Which is a fancy way of saying, Nydus worked last game, it's going to work again. Siege Tank just started. There's 3 Marines and a Banshee out. And there's going to be mass roaches popping out. Even with roach speed not quite finished, there's no time for Milkicow to get ready. He is just outgunned, outnumbered. And that first Roach Ravager attack has set up for the victory. Bly's going to come in. Milkicow unwilling to accept defeat just yet. He's thinking, maybe if I pop a Siege Tank in my mineral line, I can defend my main base, maybe? I'm surprised Bly's taking so long to get up that ramp. I think he's waiting for roach speed right now. Nydus Worm in the main is going to get shut down to the main base. Bly ready to vomit victorious acid all over Milkicow and force a game 3. Command center. Oh my god. Oh, the Milkicow, you're going to lose the command center. He tries to repair it a little bit. He does get a few hit points on it, but with the Queens chasing it, that's going to go down. He did let the Siege Tank get up kind of a mistake there for Bly, I would say. I would really like to see a wall off for Milkicow, an engineering bay or something, and raise the depot. Anything to do that would be great. The command center burnt down. New Nydus worm on the left. He's going to send just the Banshee to deal with it. Bly's like, hey, deal with that. The moment you move units to the left, we're going to shove up the ramp, and he's going for it. Takes out a Marine. Does lose 2 Roaches, though. Not the best trade there for Bly. He's got a few more Ravagers on the way. If he can break open that depot, he can flood up both sides of the ramp at once, which is going to be way more effective. He's building a 3rd base and a few more drones. I think Bly is just very happy. You might think, well, this is so committed. Doesn't he need to do more? No, the Terran's on 1 base, guys. The Terran's dead. Milkicow knows it. He has to tap out. All right. That takes us to game 3. Oh, I should say the 3rd. All right. Sorry, guys. Bly in the top right of Royal Blood, sending a drone across the map immediately. We've got something else dirty in mind. Maybe a hatchery block on the natural to stop the command center going down, or he could just harass the SCV building the command center, since Milkicow seems dead set on going command center first. Either way, drone is snaking its way down the right side of the map. He's actually clicked on this mineral patch here, and it's only 14 supply. Oh, is he doing the famous everything on 14 build? This is my favorite Bly build. I have this one written up in the Book of Filth. If you guys ever go into my Twitch chat and ask about that, the Book of Filth is a publicly viewable Google document where I have all these cheesy builds I've written up. So the idea is you go hatchery 14, then you go pool 14, gas 14, second gas 14. And he's actually not droning at all. That's interesting. So he's doing 13 spawning pool. Surely he builds a drone now before the gas, right? Yeah. Okay, so he's going to do, it's 14, 13, and then 14. Okay, so it's basically the everything on 14 build. He's just sped up the spawning pool to get slightly faster. The idea with this is he's going to pop out potentially a queen, but definitely Ravagers from here. He's going to try to run in and ruin Milkicow. Now, Milkicow is going to have the command center finished in time, so we won't be able to stop that building, but his barracks is later. It's about 30 seconds delayed by doing this opening. Milkicow going command center first. I was worrying about him doing this versus Bly. I think Bly's going to punish him super hard. So you see now the Overlord's building after the second gas. You're going to put 2 workers on gas immediately on each one. And then when the Roach Warren starts, you'll probably pop a 3rd one into those gases as well. So you can see 2 on each gas. Where's the Roach Warren? Oh, I love this build. This build is so brutal, man. I remember seeing him take out Clem a bunch of times, as well as a bunch of other top Terrans with this back in the day. And interestingly, no 3rd worker on gas just yet, so maybe it's a little more refined than back when I did it. He's actually droning a little bit more as well. So he's going to drone up to 16 workers, or 15. He's going to have 10 on minerals, 6 on gas, and he's going to build 2 Zerglings out of here, which is normally early enough to cancel a 1-Rax expand command center. But, of course, with the command center first, it finishes so early, and that's going to be an issue. Now, Milkicow's already building a bunker because his SCV scouts, and he's like, oh god, I'm getting 1 base ravaged. Oh god, oh god. If he just builds non-stop Marines, repairs the bunker, and builds a secondary bunker, he might be able to defend. But you need a secondary bunker against this build, because the first one will inevitably go down. You also can't lose your first Marine, Milkicow. Oh my god. Whew. Oh, Bly right now running his Zerglings around says, hey, you guys are friggin' fat. Your sister's ugly. Yeah, get wrecked, idiots. You guys are dirty Terran dickheads, hey. Zerglings are rather crass for those who don't know. Most of them are Bogan Zerglings, especially when Bly is using them. Roaches are on the way right now. They're going to run in towards the natural in the main base. The Zerglings finally got cleaned up. The Marines need to get back in that bunker ASAP. And of course, he needs to get a siege tank out as quickly as possible. SCVs are going to need to be pulled to repair, but Bly's just running straight past the bunker, which is actually a pretty good move. That's going to force the SCVs off the line when he has next to no money. The Roaches will get cornered here. So they are going to go down. Is it going to be worth it? He's just going to morph Ravagers. That's a good call. They have 5 armor, which means they take very little damage. I think one of them will die just before it can transform. All right, one of the Ravagers does die, but you get a partial refund, and this Roach is now going to focus down these Marines. The Ravagers have good range as well. With their 6 range, they could focus down the Marines. They use Corrosive Bile to escape from the surround. One of the Ravagers does eat a Corrosive Bile, but that's okay. There's only 1 Marine in the bunker, you got to remember, which means the new Roaches coming in aren't really suffering that much damage. There's a Cyclone on the way. He's trying to build a reactor right now as Milkicow. He did that to block the Roach, but that's stopping him from producing Marines. So I actually think just by threatening the run by, that was amazing for Bly. Another Roach has morphed into a Ravager. These guys are ruining the economy right now. He can drop a Bile there, and the mineral line would be great. He does drop a Bile. He takes out one of the mules. The SCV's trying to surround. If he can click on that Marine, that'd be great. But you can see it's hiding behind the gas. Great placement by Milkicow. Bly tried to click on it, and he couldn't. He clicked on the gas. Does take out 12 SCVs. There's a Cyclone out now. Is this stopped in its tracks? Is this done? Because right now, Milkicow's ahead on the economy. The problem for Milkicow is he has piss all economy. Oh my god, the Cyclone takes it. He's got to be careful, man. You got to be careful. Oh my god, he unloads his Marine from the bunker. Milkicow getting too fancy here. He's trying to start more Marines. He's trying to build SCVs right now, but I think just Marines and tanks are essential. He also needs to pull more SCVs to make sure he can actually repair this up. Oh my god, the Cyclone needs to survive. He's trying to push back the Overlords because they're providing high ground vision, but Bly has 2 Overlords providing high ground vision, and now the bunker's not a threat, which means the repairing SCVs are going down. Bly just getting in there and going 14 supply, build everything on 14 supply. It's a sicko build, man. Meanwhile, the siege tanks of the Cyclone trying to come forward. That tank's got to be careful though, because if it gets corrosive fire, that'd be big. It gets a big shot off. He should pull back that siege tank to like here or here right now. If it gets taken out, he'll be in the doo-doo. The Overlord does go down, which means there's no high ground vision. Is this actually a hold? This might be a hold. Command Center is back on the high ground. Putting back on gas now is Milkicow because he can't afford anything except maybe like a Widow Mine. He's building Marines 2 at a time. He needs to repair the bunker. Without a backup bunker, I worry, as well as that siege tank being a bit far forward. The Ravagers could run to here and bile it. If you put the tank a little bit further back, they can't really do that. And remember, it's all about just surviving. Bly is all in. And at this point, Milkicow no doubt is thinking, oh, he's probably droning up behind this. Like, he could actually take an expansion. Okay, I got to worry about that. I better keep double producing SCVs. A Cyclone goes down there, is trying to push back these Overlords. The Ravagers are going to try and push back that Cyclone. He's going to bile down that front depot. Second siege tank does start up, but the Marines supply blocked right now. Oh god, he starts 2 depots, but Milkicow having his economy frozen. And oh my god, it's going to be 7 Ravagers, 4 Roaches. This is a crazy army coming forward. Milkicow's pulling SCVs. That tank, like I said, it's a bit too far forward. Bly, he knows that tank's far forward as well. You know he's hungry for it. Milkicow's like, oh, it's been too long. Surely the all-in's over, right? He now sees the full depth of the Ravager count. He has to pull all the SCVs and block there. He needs to block this army getting up that ramp right now. Another tank is out. Oh, 2 siege tanks. I think it's unbreakable. Okay, I think Milkicow might actually just have this now, guys. I think with 2 tanks, the damage on that ramp is going to be devastating. He does bile down the bunker, and actually, somehow that Ravager doesn't even die, which is crazy to me. The Roaches are going to go. He's going to shove it. He's going to shove it. Oh my god, Bly just goes for it. The Cyclone does go down. He's going to bile down the front siege tank, but then he does quickly pull back. He loses a bunch of Roach Ravager, but one of the siege tanks goes down. Another tank is about to pop out. Milkicow hanging on for dear life right now. No backup bunker, remember. He's trying to build a new one there. He's trying to build more SCVs, tanks, and Marines, but even the Marine production is halved now as he lost the reactor. The bunker had to get cancelled. A second tank's about to pop out. He's unsieging his tanks. He's pulling them back. Really smart play by Milkicow. Remember what I said? You just want to barely reach the ramp and just make sure you're basically unkillable. That is so huge. I think his Marines need to be a bit further forward, but pretty good tank positioning overall. He's also got a bunch of SCVs here. He knows that Bly is pretty all in, but Bly's making link speed right now. Bly has not mined anything off anything except his main base. It is a 1 base versus 1 base war for 7 minutes, and Milkicow still has no information. So he's got to think, are you droning? Was there an expansion behind this? He doesn't have the info, whereas Bly knows exactly what's happening and how much he's committing. Milkicow just saw the Zerglings. He knows Ling Speed's finished. Ling Speed's really scary because Lings can tank the front volley of siege tank shots really well. And without a bunker getting up, the Marines don't have a safety. Milkicow's in big trouble. He's trying to build more Marines, stim, a 3rd barracks. He doesn't have any extra tanks. He's got 3 siege tanks. Oh, but I think he's held it. I think he's held it, right? The siege tanks are getting crazy volleys off. Biles land. One of the siege tanks falls. The second siege tank does go down. There's only 1 siege tank left right now. But Bly somehow still got 6 Ravagers alive. There was only 1 tank. All the Marines were dead, and he has to tap out. Let's look at those last few seconds again. Was he actually dead? I think he was. My god. Yeah, all the Marines are dead. There's like 1 Marine, no, 2 Marines, 1 siege tank, and he's got nothing producing. He's just started a few Marines. Those Ravagers were going to bile the last tank, and he was done for. That was dirty, man. GG, well played. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you've been enjoying these play games, let me know. I hope you don't mind me casting some games of some different players. A big thanks to everyone who's been supporting the Patreon. Just want to say a big thanks to Jacob G, Max San, as well as everyone else who's hopped on board. It makes a massive difference to supporting the channel, so I really appreciate it, especially if you're using AdBlock. Think about hopping on the Patreon and showing some love. Links down below in the description. We'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye and good night.